Come on, Blaine. Yep. Drive. Yep.
Moving my body through space, that's all it is.
Yep. Yep. Nice job, Blaine. What's up, everybody? Coach Jonathan with Steadfast Barbell. I'm back. This is the Weightlifting Masterminds, episode number 2. And as you can see, we are down a couple masterminds today. It is myself and my good buddy Blaine Burgess. But we're going to attack it nonetheless. We just finished up our training session. And then today we're going to dive deep into a topic, something I think we all can relate to. Actually, I know that we all can relate to it. So Blaine, you want to dive in?
Yeah, so topic today is the topic of failure, and I think more importantly, how you recover from failure. So, failure happens on a couple of different scales, so it can be something as far as like missing one lift, like that's a micro failure, one moment in time, versus, a macro failure, say like an entire mesocycle, like, a whole month of training that you really just didn't grease the groove, you didn't get to where you wanted to be, you didn't improve the way you thought you would. So you can kind of talk, we'll talk through about, how you deal with those goals on a long-term scale and a short-term scale in the gym, and also, personal experiences, like how we failed in life and maybe come back from it and learn from our past failures. So Jonathan, do you have anything that comes to mind in terms of failure, an experience you've had, or putting it in the context of a micro or a macro failure?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, Blaine. As an Olympic weightlifter, I experience failure almost on a daily training basis, right? As you said, a micro failure being a missed lift, and I'm thinking more of a macro level, maybe a 12-week macro cycle, or maybe even a couple years down the road, you're not seeing your numbers budge. Right? I mean, we do what we do to increase our lift totals, right? To increase our snatch, to increase our clean and jerk. In order to do that, we've got to be increasing our squat. We've got to be getting stronger. I can tell you from personal experience, and this is fitting because this just recently has happened to me. I've been grinding for nearly 3 years on my squat strength and improving my jerk, and I have seen little to no progress in both of those areas. And it's been so frustrating. I mean, I feel like I've been failing over and over and over and over again. But I love the sport and I've stuck with it. And I'm just now starting to see the fruits of that labor. And my numbers are starting to go up pretty rapidly. So it's all been worth it. You know what I mean? And I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is, why am I doing it? Why am I pursuing this sport as an athlete and as a coach? Because let's be honest, as a coach, we experience failure as well, right? And I think my why behind the purpose for doing it is what sustains me long term and gets me over those humps, if you will. So that's kind of been my experience up until this point. And I know you talked briefly before as we were training today, kind of what you learned from some of your failures, particularly on like a platform, right, in a competition setting. What's that been like?
Yeah, so I think everyone kind of puts a lot of emphasis on the internet. You see people want to go 6 for 6. You want to go to a meet, and that's honestly the best case scenario. And to be honest, I'm not going to stop someone from wanting to go 6 for 6. In my opinion, maybe that means you're not pushing that final attempt to maybe your potential. But you can. There's opinions all over the place about that. But I would say, even to a small moment as like today in training, missing a rep or, you could have done a rep better kind of thing. Just knowing that you experienced that micro failure, so that rep, I know what I can do better. So now, just even being cognizant of what I'm doing wrong moving forward, that's going to make tomorrow's reps better. It's going to make next week's reps better. And ultimately, at the Arnold is kind of like the short-term goal, the AO1. Make sure that those are nice and crisp. All I have to do is make my lifts on that day, and that's really all that matters to me. So anything that's going to get me to that point of hitting my 100% best effort on that day. If I miss every rep in training from now until then, and I smoke it on the meet day, you know what? It's still a win. So long term, I would say describing my start in weightlifting, I totaled about 220. Could snatch about 100, clean and jerk about 120 successfully. So from there, I had big, pretty lofty goals over 2 to 3 years. I wanted to be going to national meets and really pushing myself up towards those elite American totals. So you got to start by getting to the next number. So first weightlifting meet in May, about 2 months in, totaled 270. So pop that up real quick with some technique and some mobility gains. And then as I went, I stopped making gains as fast. So for example, the state weightlifting meet, I kind of disappointed in myself, I went like 3 for 6, missed some big attempts that I thought I should have been able to hit. So that meet, I got second place, then trained for about, maybe 2 months. Went to the strongest unicorn here in Hilliard, Ohio, did the same total. So I went from 270 to 285. I hit 285 in 2 straight meets. So basically at that point I had 2 choices. I could either give up weightlifting, which is just not an option in my mind, or I could reevaluate my approach, actually process that failure. So sit down with myself and say, hey man, you didn't give your best effort today. That's okay. How do we fix it? So then I sat down, had an honest conversation with myself, some coaches, some friends, and then I just attacked my weaknesses. So that's the biggest thing for me, was the weakness on the clean and jerk. So I did a cycle, a mesocycle that was specifically for my clean and jerk. I worked on my full grip. I worked on just better positions in the clean overall and confidence squatting under the bar. And then finally at my most recent meet, the Pittsburgh Open, I went 137, 165, and had a 302 total. So I jumped from 285 to 302. And I think those numbers were in me all along. I just maybe didn't have the mental or physical readiness to hit it back in 2017. But now, 2018, a little bit more training, a little more maturity, and just being honest with myself about my previous failure. You fail now doesn't mean you have to fail later. You can use that lesson and succeed in the future. So.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm hearing is you've kind of learned along the way. You learn from your failures, your mistakes, if you will. And another layer to this is, if you're not failing, are you really pushing it as hard as you could be or should be? I don't think so, right? Yeah. Failure is part of the process. And being okay with that, right?
Yeah. Being able to be honest with yourself. I think a lot of people in our society these days, they're not honest with themselves about many things, whether it be, you racked up some credit card debt. You can't just pretend it's not there, or you can't, miss a clean and jerk and pretend that maybe you don't need to make your front squat go up. If you're honest with yourself about that and you set actual attainable goals, I believe that you can push through any failure. You can make that a success. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to encourage you guys, especially those of you out there who train alone, encourage you to find some buddies that are interested in the same thing. Lift with some people. This is a community-driven thing. It's a relationship-driven thing. I think we do better together than what we do on our own, because when I get frustrated, when I'm down in the pits, when I'm not doing well, I need somebody to lift me up and encourage me. So you got any last words?
I think that's it. I think we got it out.
Well, Sam, Daniel, we missed you this week, but I think next week we're back at FC, right?
Yeah, I think
in our rotation.
Right. I think that's going to be the spot. It's going to be
cool.
It's going to be awesome.
So we'll be at Fit Club, FC Barbell next Friday. Again, today we are from Steadfast Barbell in Dublin, Ohio. I'm Jonathan Raymond, owner, head weightlifting coach at Steadfast. This is Blaine Burgess. CrossFit coach, weightlifting coach down at Fit Club. Make sure to follow us. Handles are below on Instagram. And subscribe to the Steadfast YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time. Peace. All right, man. Nice. Good topic.